it to the Cali Current Podcast. I'm Grimace.
I'm Ishmael or Ish.
And we're here to, for the episode 1. Thank you guys for joining us on this journey about letting you know what's going on and what's popping in the west side, the best side.
And the name of the podcast is Current Cali Podcast for all you listeners out there and viewers.
Yeah, that's right. So, my name's Grimace. I'm over here, born and raised in Santa Ana, California. But, I've lived in different places around Southern California, mainly around Orange County, to be honest. I mean, I did live in Riverside County a couple months, but technically it was Riverside County, but really it was Chino Hills. But, I got a lot of family in the Riverside County area, and I do be frequenting that area. My parents always be over there in that area too, so I always be visiting them over there. Also my aunts and uncles. And
I live currently in Riverside County. I mean, I actually live close to downtown Riverside, but I was born in Mexico. I was not raised in Orange County. Actually, Santa Ana. I was raised in Santa Ana, but I currently live in Riverside County. I mean, it's okay there, but, it's Orange County is a different vibe. IE here in California is in an empire, for all of you that are not aware, but it's a good place to live. I don't know if you guys have been through here, have driven through here, but it's a okay place. But Orange County is a little bit nicer, but I sort of don't regret not living there, but I don't want to live there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you have your pros and cons. I mean, yeah, everybody likes Orange County area. You got everything popping. You got Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm. The downtown
Six
scenes.
Flags over California, I think it's called now. It's not called Six Flags Magic Mountain for all you people that grew up with that.
Yeah, but Six Flags is that's way in far away, no?
Yeah, Santa Clarita, which is LA County, which is basically almost a different county altogether. But I mean, what can I say? People like that place. There's a lot of different Six Flags around the U.S.
Yeah, but like all of us, I mean, we first originated kind of in Santa Ana. I mean, you guys also started. You also started in Santa Ana, California, no?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, from here, this is Santa Ana where we're at right now, but not too far from here. I mean, on the other side of town, that's where I grew up. I mean, I was brought here very, very young, but I'm not born in Orange County. I just was raised here. But Orange County is nice, but I don't think I'd want to live here again.
It's nice. I mean, but would you say you wouldn't want to live here again for
No, it's just I feel it's overcrowded for some reason. Well, because all the jobs are really not here unless you work for a county or a government job. But I don't work for the county. I work for a private entity. But I live right now where I live. I live 5 minutes away from where I work. Which is nice, but I'm probably gonna move at the end of this month. So who knows what's gonna happen in that aspect.
Yeah, because I see a lot of people, a lot of family members I have, and a lot of people too. It seems one of the biggest things that moves, as far as the middle class, because, the majority of people is middle class, working class. One of the biggest, from what I've learned and understand, one of the biggest tools, to advance socially, financially, is real estate. That's a really good wealth builder. And so a lot of people started in Santa Ana. And then, if you were, fortunate enough to own property, then, you sell because it is a desirable place. We're close to the coast. A lot of people like being close to the beach coast because, improved air quality and whatnot. Or at least that's what I like to think why the beach property access is more valuable or worth more money. I think because air quality and also because I guess people just like the beach.
Well, I think most importantly, actually, people that want to live here in Orange County or in general Southern California, I mean, want to be here not because it's the best place to live, but because the weather is very favorable here.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people complain it's Christmas. It's 80 degrees in Christmas. But, hey, that's actually kind of cool. I mean, right now I'm wearing shorts. We're in November. It was November 10th.
I'm wearing a T-shirt for crying out loud. Look at me. I'm wearing a pink T-shirt for
a pink?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I just picked it out, I guess.
Yeah, November 10th, man, in the middle of November. I mean, if you're in Green Bay, Wisconsin, go Pack, go. Over there, they're probably experiencing some snowstorms, rainstorms. But But yeah, man, I mean, I actually enjoy it. I mean, then again, I like the summertime. I have a biased opinion. I do like the
Well, of course, you
summertime.
can tell I'm a Rams fan because that's my Rams sweatshirt right there. Hoodie, I guess. But yeah, we're representing LA, but we're representing mostly Southern Cal. But we are in California, Cali Coast Podcast for all you new listeners out there and new viewers.
But yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's a really good wealth building tool. But I noticed that a lot of people, a lot of family members, and also friends, customers, what they would do is, they own property in Santana or Orange County area. They sold, moved to the IE Riverside, or also, from listening to different tales, people that would live in LA, they, to get away from the traffic, from the dangerous urban cities, or any issues, they would move out to the Inland Empire, which is more of a, more of the boonies, away from any issues. So that's why I kind of think where the movement went. So it's kind of like driven by money, also peace, and also more space, more of a country vibe.
Correct.
Is
But since no matter what or no matter where in Orange County, LA County, Southern California, anywhere in California or anywhere across the country, we have the problem of homelessness at this point. That's one of the main topics that we're actually going to get into right now, because we believe that, there's a lot of reasons why people go homeless or why they choose to be homeless, but at the same time is because homelessness is prevalent everywhere. It doesn't matter. I've worked in other cities myself, and I know that it's a problem everywhere because I fly everywhere sometimes for work, and I see this problem everywhere. It's not just a rampant thing here in California in general, but all across the U.S.
Yeah, it is a problem everywhere. I wouldn't say everywhere. I'm assuming it is everywhere, but as far as from what I've seen in Orange County area, Los Angeles County area, the areas I more often frequent, yeah, homelessness is a big issue. Los Angeles, and especially here in Santana, California. Within the last recent 7 years, from what I hear in the news, various cities, they would bus in their homeless and bus them in down here to Santana. And it's just like, hey, man, I'm local. I'm residing close to the downtown metropolis area. So it's when they bust them in, they're pretty close. They could traverse to me. And, I see the common over the years. I've seen the frequent flyer, the frequent homeless. I would see them for so often, and then for whatever reason they would just they weren't frequent no more. So I would think one of the common causes of a homelessness is drug addiction and also mental health issues. I would say those two things are one of the big drivers of homelessness.
Yeah, that's basically it. Because we see this issue. I don't know if anybody out there has been here to LA. Everybody knows Skid Row if you're from Southern Cal or in general. Have you ever walked down there, or have you ever been down there recently?
Yeah.
That's all you see basically, right? Because you just mentioned it.
Yeah, I went to a Laker game once, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And yeah, just driving around looking for parking. And I was like, dang, man, you got these fancy buildings over here. You got stuff that's popping in the nightlife. And then you got that, the Skid Row. And it's just
off of Wall Street in downtown LA.
Yeah, and it's just damn, man, that's a mark showing we kind of failed as a society to just be push these people to the side. You'll have people in skyrise building Rolls Royces. Hey, no offense to people in skyrise and Rolls Royce buildings. Hey, I don't mind that kind of lifestyle. It's great. But then when we have people living on Skid Row, these unsanitary bacteria filled conditions, that's kind of I'm not trying to promote socialism, communism, nothing like that. But at the same time, it's we still, as a society, got to eliminate those kind of things. And then from what I heard in the current news is, the Gavin Newsom, he's kind of lost the funding, or his his entourage cabinet. They're not holding accountable. They're just kind of giving away funds to charity organizations, and they're not holding them accountable to what happened to the money. I think it's I don't know, billion. I might have been billions. I'm for sure it was millions.
California does have basically the third largest economy in the entire U.S. I mean, we basically can be our own country if we wanted to. We don't do that. Obviously, we don't secede like other states that probably would think of doing so, especially in this time of era that we're living in. But homelessness is prevalent everywhere because I worked out of Phoenix. And just to give you a quick background.
Oh, damn.
But I did see a lot of rampant drug use and or the drug use in terms of the fentanyl. Is that what it is? That drug right now that everybody's dying from?
Oh, yeah.
Fentanyl, right? I think that's being mass produced, in and out of the U.S. because it's being consumed here in the U.S. But right now, Phoenix is just, it looks so bad, like in the downtown or in general, any parts of Phoenix where I used to be all the time. I saw that a lot of homelessness / drug use because of the fact that a lot of these people that were homeless were drug users. And I'm not saying anything wrong with that. But, everything correlates for that reason, right? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, from what I understand about the fentanyl is the drug makers, they sparingly, like they got to add a little bit of the fentanyl. But when they mess up and start killing the addicts or users, is they put too much. Because from what I've seen in the news, like a very small amount is like deadly. Like,
correct.
Like, even if you get it on your skin and your skin absorbs it or something.
Yeah, that could be a way that it penetrates into your pores or in general, and it's going to go into your bloodstream, and that's the fastest way to die.
Yeah, and then I think that's even what took out the neighbor's son. He was about my age too, and it kind of sucked. R.I.P. to the homie.
I didn't know that. Oh, wow. I think this is the first time I hear this.
Oh, yeah. I never told you about that.
I don't think you did.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever mentioned it.
Yeah, the neighbor's son, man, like he was battling addiction. I used to work with him too. He was, we're working at the auto repair shop together. And, he was battling addiction, whatnot. His brother was in the Marines, and like right around the coronavirus time, he was training his brother to go into the Marines. And then he was getting on a straight path, and he was in one of those halfway houses. And then it was unfortunate to hear that they said he died of a overdose, which I think someone just gave him a bad batch. He probably relapsed. People relapse, whatever. But I think that's probably what happened. But yeah, that those are the things that I think that's contributing to the homelessness. And there's different ways to attack the problem. I mean, obviously, or maybe not so obviously.
Well, I mean, the thing is, yes, there is many ways to deal with it, but I think in a lot of ways we don't, as a society, want to deal with that because we ignore that problem that we have. All these people that are homeless in and out of the cities or in general all around, wherever urban areas, suburban areas, are neglected because of the fact that we don't see them and they don't exist in our mind, and we don't do anything about it because we just ignore them. And that's the issue that we have as a society and or as human nature, because it is human nature just to ignore a problem and not deal with it.
Yeah, I've even heard people call them the invisible people.
Correct.
When they refer to homeless or the addicts. Because and I was like, damn, that's a good description. I mean, they're not invisible to me. I see a homeless and like, I mean, it's not good to enable them and give them money. But, I was like, hey, if it makes you happy, I prefer you don't go use it to your vice. But if you use it to your vice, whatever.
But you know what? You have a good point in that, because I hardly ever give people money unless, I don't know if I'm being wrong about this, but I only give homeless females that have possibly a puppy and or males that have puppies, or in general dogs.
Oh yeah, when they have pets, I
usually try to buy them something to eat. Mostly that's the first thing that I go to. I never offer money anymore, and if I do, it's probably gonna be $1 or $2. It's not a lot. It's not gonna make a big difference, especially in today's society.
I used to always have like a snack or something in my car, so I'll give them like a snack or whatever, or water. But now I usually have like change or like a couple dollars, so then I always give them like, hey, you know what? I don't want to enable them. At the same time, it's like, if it makes their day, they might not see tomorrow. So it's like, if it makes your day, I mean, I hope you're not going to go get that fentanyl lace thing, but.
Or in general, just anything that's going to contribute to their, addiction, I guess, if that's how you want to put it. But what I would do actually, not because I do offer them money. Actually, the people that I respect more, the homeless people. And not because I don't respect any of them. I respect all of them. It doesn't matter who it is.
Hey, that's what's up. I was like, you don't respect any of them? Hey,
no. Don't get me wrong. I respect everybody. Everybody is a human. Everybody, we have to treat each other with love, respect, dignity, and admiration to a certain degree. But, if it's a male that I know is homeless and or is just a transient, or in general they have any type of addiction, if he straight out says, "Hey, can you buy me a beer?" I'll do it. I'll do it. Not because I want to feed into their addiction, but because this person was honest. They told me exactly what they wanted, and I'm gonna just affix whatever I'm gonna buy them and just get it done. Why? Because I respect honesty. I think honesty is key in a lot of situations, even though we don't want to see people getting money and or for their addiction for whatever the reason is. I guess, we don't want to ignore it either, but at the same time, I do it because I'm a human more than anything. I might have a soft spot for honesty. I think honesty is key in a lot of situations, but we're not honest with ourselves because like I said, we ignore the issue as people and as society, and of course the government ignores them as a people too, because they are people. They might have some type of mental anguish. They might have an addiction. We don't know. There's many different reasons why people end up being homeless. And there's a lot of different reasons why they actually choose to be homeless. And not because it's by choice, but sometimes it's possibly a necessity. Who knows? We never know.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's necessity, then I always hear about the veterans. That's really a disheartening one whenever you hear about veterans being on homeless because they served our country, whether they went and fought or not.
And speaking of veterans, since we're getting close to Veterans Day tomorrow, today is the 10th of September.
Yeah, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans.
Sorry. Tomorrow is the 11th, and tomorrow is Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. While you're hearing this, so, shout out to the veterans. We appreciate what you did. Thank you very much for your service. And we do thank you very much for everything that you've ever done to serve in all capacities of the U.S. military.
Yeah, so as far as like the homelessness thing, it's like, okay, so I mean, to me, I would say it's obvious. I would assume it's obvious. Like, you just can't go around throwing money. But I mean, one thing that was kind of bothering when I saw this news article that, at a press conference, Gavin Newsom was pressed about $24 billion was spent on homelessness. Yeah. And it kind of went missing or unaccounted for. From what they were saying was that at least so many billions were lost or unaccounted for that they just threw them out to nonprofit charities. Like, they got to hold some accountability and see what's this money actually doing. Is it actually like working towards helping those homeless, like building them those little, like, maybe you could just buy them I mean, I'm not a politician or anything like that, but if you have $24 billion, you could buy a bunch of those little Amazon houses, put them somewhere in the Inland Empire, or put them somewhere, by the beach, and, house them. Give them a working community.
Correct. But $24 billion can also buy small countries, too, in different parts of the world. Countries that are barely, struggling, and they need the money, and then they're going to sell you a piece of their land or an island or something, Yeah, $24 billion can do a lot of money to a lot of people.
Yeah, so they got to hold some accountability. It's just like you just can't lose that accountability money. Like, honestly, I've even heard stories where some of those funds were embezzled or into fraud. So, I mean, there's a lot of corruption in politics. It really sucks that, maybe there is a lot of bad apples in that branch that they're just letting the money, go to their pockets. Like, I even heard I think Orange County senator, congressman, he was embezzling money too, like, to his daughter's nonprofit, and now he's under investigation. No, he actually did get charged, and his daughter, now she's under investigation because of those funds, and it's really sickening to see that, like, as a community, we're trying to better everybody. I mean, under capitalism, but at the same time, we got these politicians that are just going into, greed.
It's a money grab.
It's a money grab, and it's going into greed. And
but you know what I tell people?
This really sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. I can agree, and I confer with that. But I tell people, well, here in the U.S., there's a lot of corruption going on in all different branches of government. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what branch it is. But my point is that here it's not as seen, or it's undetectable, I guess, to a certain extent.
There you go.
To a certain extreme. But, I mean, there's a lot of things that we don't know that go on in the background. There's a lot of funds that go misplaced in federal government, in local government, in state governments. It doesn't matter. Or many branches, many departments don't see a lot of certain money and funding. But the reason why I say this is because here it happens but it happens everywhere in other countries in the entire world. But in other countries, especially my country where I was born and I'm from, even though I'm Mexican American, I'm a U.S. citizen now. It happens a lot, but it's more seen over there because it's just out in the open. Here in the U.S., it's more covered up because we don't know. We don't get to see anything because everything's all behind closed doors.
Yeah. So with that, I think what we should do is we gotta acknowledge it. I mean, everybody knows there's corrupt politicians. Everybody knows, like you said, it's really hidden well here. So I think what we gotta start doing as a country, as a people, is start showing having a unit, like a, what do you call it, anti-corruption unit, like the corruption unit. Huh? So that way in every
well, it does exist. It's called the FBI, but to a certain extent.
Hey, there you go. Hey, that's true.
Yeah, but what are they gonna? They're gonna investigate. The FBI is gonna investigate their own federal, employees, or in general any type of local government employees.
Yeah. So now what we gotta do is just have like something to make it obvious, like a federal, or maybe not federal. It's like a anti-corruption unit. Because obviously that is what the FBI is for. That is their charge.
Their main purpose, technically.
Yeah, but now I want to make it obvious. Like, it's gonna be obvious because of this, like a anti-corruption unit.
But who's gonna head that, and who's gonna have the audacity or the cojones, if you want to put it so delicately, to get that done, to start a campaign against corruption or any type of corruption in and outside of local, state, and federal governments? Who's going to head that on? Who's going to take that mantle and just want to do that? Because, just because it's happening, that doesn't mean people are going to voluntarily give their information away. And especially because of the fact that there's a lot of different things going on that we don't know about. And I don't want to say anything because I don't know anything at all. It's hard to do, a proper investigation, because even then, what would you really dig up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have people digging up stuff, you'll get to it. You'll get to the source. You'll find it. But I mean, that way we could see what's the best way to tackle it. And even if they don't know what to dig up, then it at least have the corrupt officials or those that are considering being corrupt. Like, oh crap, the corruption unit is there, so they'll think twice about it. But I think we should really, the government should think about that like a corruption unit and just be ready to have everybody on their toes. And that also keep them safe. That way you won't have like another January 6th Boston Tea Party type stuff where they're coming at you. Because the January 6th insurrection was just a bunch of American patriots, trying to hold accountable these people, which that was not the best way to go about it. But maybe if those people would have seen like, hey, we got a corruption unit that their sole focus is to, infiltrate and uncover these corrupt individuals, then at least, there's, a division just held for accountability.
Even if that would happen, if that were to be the case, if that was to be a possibility in real life, what would be the outcome once the investigation would be complete? That's something that is a totally entire different animal. But I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of government policies or in general politics, but I really don't delve into those type of situations.
Like a slap on the wrist, like they found out this guy's corrupt. Oh, slap on the wrist.
Well, type of thing. I mean, I could say a lot of things about certain things or certain people being corrupt, but I don't. Like I said, I don't delve into those type of things because it's hard to say. The most corruptible people in the world have already been shown in the light, or in general. But I'm not gonna say anything. But nothing happened to these people. There's basically zero accountability.
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, basically we got two options, and it's also the two different directives or motives that I'm not too sure who won.
And by the way, this is Cali Current Podcast at this point, so that's what you're listening to, just so you could be aware of the name. Go ahead.
That's right.
Sorry, my interruption.
So at this moment, I mean, I've already looked into it. I should probably did my homework and see who won. Was it whether for the city that we're basing out of Santana, whether Valeria Mesqua won or Benjamin Vasquez, but they both had different approaches to the homelessness problem, which one of them was a probation officer, from what I understand, Valeria Mesqua, And the other guy, Benjamin Vasquez, was a educator. I believe I think he was a high school teacher or some sort of a teacher. So one of them, the probation officer, Amesqua, she was more of a like, prioritizing safety, which is a key word for providing more funding for the police, which
Right.
is what typically most mayors do. They always want to provide pro police. But that's kind of what got us here. So you know what? I mean, if we keep doing the same thing, it's kind of insane, and that's the definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over and over, and we're not really gonna get different results. So maybe a different route. That's my personal opinion. Everyone has their opinion, but I would think maybe a different route would be to tackle this problem, because just incriminating them. I mean, yeah, I mean the good thing is out of sight, out of mind. Throw the invisible people into jail, get them off the streets. But, eventually they're going to be released. Eventually they start passing other laws where, nonviolent offenders. And, they're going to be back on the streets again. So I think the approach to the other guy, the Vasquez, I'm not even too sure who won at this point. He was more apt towards, like, maintaining those homeless encampments and, just try to, like, I guess, help them and overcome their addiction, which is, the invisible people are gonna be there. You're still gonna have that problem.
Treatment is necessary. It does help. I mean, people don't think so, but yeah, it does help. I mean, to rehabilitate somebody, yes, it's a lot of work. It's hard work, but it does make a difference, and people will respond to it if people actually make an effort to try to help all these people that need help.
Yeah, so I mean, my personal opinion is that I would say try to help them and fix them. I mean, some of them you could argue you're not going to be able to fix them.
It's not going to be 100% foolproof, but it does happen where people do change, they better their lives, and they want to live much productive lives as society members and or in general. They want to be better for themselves, and they want to be better for their families, and they want to be better for society altogether.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it too, like, If you're walking down Bristol, if I'm walking my dogs, or, my nephews and nieces, if they're walking down, I wouldn't want them to have to deal with the homeless, with the homeless addict just like wilding out, dancing in the street, with no shirt. I mean, I've seen them go crazy.
Well, yeah, it depends on the drug too. They're not going to just be out there being happy because they're homeless or because of the fact that they're drug addicts. It's the type of drug they're on that's probably going to have them be dancing in the middle of the streets.
Yeah, so I get that too. You wanna get them off the street too. You don't want to just have them there.
And yeah, we should, and we should take an approach that's a humanitarian approach, but not most importantly, I mean, we need to take an approach where we have to try to at least solve the problem, not just make it worse by ignoring it, because it's just growing and growing and growing. And I would assume it's like a cancer. If you neglect it, it's going to keep growing, and eventually it's just going to be the end of you. In my opinion, that's just the way I see it.
So what would your approach Ish be? Would you be more into like incriminate the addicts and homeless, or would you say more like
it doesn't do any good? It doesn't do any good because I've worked in the court system myself. I've worked in a court system where I saw a lot of repeat offenders that were mostly addicts and or homeless people, and that doesn't work. Why? Because they don't have the means to help themselves and or to get help from society. And I would assume that, and it's sorry to say it's a cliche, but I think the police departments and or in general government entities come in and they target these people. Why? Because they're the vulnerable people that everybody can ignore, but at the same time they can easily target because they're the easy target. Who's the first person you're going to see on the streets? A homeless person. You don't really pay attention to the people in society walking around. You pay attention to the people that are just there causing a technical disturbance, according to most police agencies and or in general. But me, myself, honestly, to answer your question, I would just tackle the problem head on and or just deal with the rehabilitation of these people because they do need it. They do need our attention. They do need our efforts to try to get them in a better place. Yes, maybe everybody might think it's not our responsibility, but it is our responsibility as humankind to do so.
Yeah, as a humankind, like I saw, like the reason why I'm more apt to changing the norm instead of like incriminating them and getting them off the street. So so we could have a safe place to walk. The way, because I saw this study or this documentary where in Europe they were actually doing this like needle program where they would actually provide clean needles, and I mean they were enabling the addicts and homeless, but they actually saw a reduction in use. Like it was actually helping tackle the problem, like providing the addicts with like, okay, like what, here's some fresh needles so you guys don't spread disease amongst each other. And they would also provide them with counseling, like, hey, have you ever considered stopping? And just having that supportive thing, that supportive option.
Yes.
So they actually saw progress being made, and that's was like, oh wow, like that's why I'm more apt towards that, like helping them, and also not. I mean, if we just keep incriminating them, it's just gonna be the same cyclical cycle. Which that's why when I was kind of seeing like, okay, this other mayor lady, she's a probation officer. That's her career. So she already has ties to the justice system. And then obviously the justice system, it's now become a for-profit system where, people get incarcerated. Taxpayer dollars is going to pay for their what do you call it, their prosecution in front of a judge, in front of the district attorney. All the taxpayer dollars are going to pay for the process of all of them. So that's why I kind of think we got to take a new approach, because a lot of the people that are running the cogs in the system, they're getting, compensated for it. So they don't really mind. Honestly, it's kind of like they don't really mind eliminating the problem. It's kind of like if you get rid of the Joker, there's no longer a need for the Batman. So that's why I'm kind of like, maybe we need new approaches to these issues.
Well, I mean, it's just a touchy subject on all levels. To a lot of people in general, because like I mentioned earlier, by the way, you're listening to the Cali Current and you're watching the Cali Current podcast, that we ignore because we just don't care for it. We don't care to acknowledge it. We don't care to help. We don't care that they exist to a certain extent. And I'm not talking about me personally. I'm just being general.
Yeah.
But, it is a problem that is possibly going to keep growing. I mean, who knows? It just depends on what the situations are, especially now that the administration is going to change. So we'll see. Only time will tell. We'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, because they've been throwing dollars at it, but even with these millions, billions of dollars, amazingly, it's only increased the population of homelessness. So whatever they're doing, whatever money they're throwing at it, it's not working. So politicians, officials, if you're listening, you gotta do something and do something different, because that ain't working.
I'm sure that if a lot of research can be done in terms of the minds that are capable of figuring out these issues, I'm sure we can find a solution that's going to be cost effective and or in general effective to those that need it, to all the homelessness population that is prevalent throughout the entire U.S.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, as a society, it all falls onto us.
Correct.
Like, I mean, I personally got family that's homeless, and I tried talking to him like, hey man, like, come with me, I'll take care of you. And he's got mental drug issues, and I can't get through to him no matter how many times I've tried. Like, come on, bro, come on, Pri, I got you. And he'd rather be on the street.
Correct.
And
there's nothing we could do in that point.
Yeah, there's nothing we could do
at that point. Sorry.
And that's what a lot of my other family members tell me too. Like, some of them are even offended by him and they get mad at him. And I'll just be like, look, he's our cousin, nephew, godson, grandchild, whatever, to the grandparents. But we also gotta look out for him. But that's what brings us to our point. Like, nowadays, everybody has cell phones. Our priorities are all mixed up. I think with everybody having cell phones nowadays, everybody's busy, which is a good thing. Because, I mean, it's a good and a bad thing. Now you can be productive. Like, hey, you wanna learn how to do your own plumbing? You figure it out. You want to learn how to build up your computer? DIY. Figure it out. DIY.
There's a lot of ways to exploit our own phones for our benefits.
Yeah, I mean,
but anything. Technology is only getting better and easier now that AI is in the resurgence at this point. We're in a different society. Technology is advancing. We're finding ways to be more efficient in doing everything that we do, especially if we could just look something up on our phone. If we need help with something or with anything. Cooking, you guys can get recipes. Anybody can get a recipe right away.
But see, it's a good thing and a bad thing. But I think what we and everybody else needs to do is make sure it's being a good thing. Because it's become a bad thing because now with the phone, you know, we got a whole computer. I mean, I grew up, you know, with a desktop computer, so I've always been pretty much, you know, to me now with the cell phone, basically I have a desktop in my pocket. So now
it's a mini computer, basically.
Yeah, a mini computer, exactly. But you got to use it for production to be productive. Because, I mean, I'm also guilty of this, using it for leisure. Sometimes, you know, I've noticed like, oh, crap, I just been scrolling for like 40 minutes. Like, what the hell? You know, that ain't nothing productive.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'll be getting some good chuckles, like, oh, some good laughs, some good reels, some good
we're all guilty. We're all guilty of doing that.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, we got to limit that, and we got to use it for goodness. Because, I mean, oftentimes, you know, I be playing fantasy football and be like, oh, damn, you know, Jordan Love just got 4 touchdowns, we all love our sports. Yards.
All that love sports. So not everybody. I'm just being general.
But then am I annoying? Like, oh, how many not how many yards, but how many steps did my dad get in his workout today?
Well, like, we're so busy as a society on our phones that we don't really care for the details in our family and in general our family members. We neglect. I mean, everybody's seen that, you know, whatever meme on any type of format where everybody's just sitting around nowadays in the holidays, now that the holidays are near, where everybody's on their phone and nobody's caring to talk to mom or grandma or anybody across the table. No. We're all on our phones. We're trying to eat our dinner, Thanksgiving dinner actually, and then we're all on our phones not paying attention. And then once in a while we'll grab a bite. Yeah, everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I think a good thing to be like, hey, that's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love football. You know, it's the best. Go Pack, go Packers.
I'm a Rams fan. You can tell, right? We're from LA. Right here, we're in SoCal,
hey, West Side, when you guys won the Super Bowl, hey, that was all for you guys. But no, yeah, I mean, it's good to know all that information and stats on your favorite team and leisure. I mean, if you're not into football, whatever, sports or
any
leisure.
Any type of sport.
But also make sure
horse racing.
We got to make sure we're also dedicating that same energy and focus to what's really important.
Our families.
To families, yeah, like
our generation, our everything.
Yeah,
everything that we hold dear and near to our heart that we sort of neglect to a certain extent, but we do actually care more about being on our phones than a lot of things.
Yeah, so I would say let's try to use our phones to be more closer to family. Like start group chats with your cousins, you know, be like, hey, what up, primos, you know. Share funny things and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, keep each other in contact. Let's use technology, though. You know, because it keeps us busy now. Like I always hear, like, oh, like how people say, I'm too busy to go work out in the morning. Correct. I'm too busy for this. I understand that. There's a lot of things I want to do. I want to, you know, do all these upgrades to my vehicles.
Correct.
And
whatnot. But technology or our phones or in general our tablets or anything, our computers keep us, I guess, guarded. More than anything, it keeps us locked away from everything else or from everybody else. I have a good thing to say, actually. I mean, yes, technology is getting more advanced, but I think technology is being used technically to have us connected, but actually more than anything, we're disconnected. Because of the fact that, yes, we can easily call up somebody or we can video message or video chat or whatever format you want to use. There's plenty of them, but I'm not going to say because, you know, everybody has their own way of communicating. But we don't. Because why? Because it's so simple for us to ignore our family with our phones because we could easily say in a text, hey, how are you doing? And we don't.
Yeah. And it's something so simple. But clearly we'll use it for laughter, for leisure. But that's just a little thing, you know. It's I think it all comes down to priorities. Like how people say, oh, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time
to go visit my grandparents. And I've been guilty of that. And I've been guilty of not going to the gym.
Yeah, and
recently in the last 2 weeks because it's hard.
And it comes down to priorities. I mean,
correct.
Because I mean, you had time to scroll around and look at all those funny memes
and watch TV
and watch TV
and all our apps exactly that keep us glued to our TVs and our.
But that's all of us. I mean, you know,
no. I'm just saying
things to work on.
I mean, it's because I get out of work and sometimes I'm beat and I'm like, should I go to the gym or not? But in like, okay, well, no, because I just want to be home comfortable watching TV or being on my phone.
Yeah,
It's hard to prioritize, like Grimace says. It's hard, but you got to find time for everything, right? Especially for family and for developing relationships with our loved ones in general and or acquaintances. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, prioritize family. I mean, particularly pets, especially with coronavirus. Well, post coronavirus, I know a lot of people got pets. I mean, I know my two dogs, Oreo and Grimace, they had puppies. So I was out there promoting more pets and whatnot. And I mean, pets are pretty good. I got Oreo and Grimace. They're two Dachshund mixes, and they keep me company. They also provide security, and from what I understand, dogs can hear they could smell. They could smell.
They have a good sense.
Away.
They have a sixth sense, so they can smell if you're probably down the street. But I have my own puppy actually. Her name is Gracie. She's a Maltese Chihuahua mix, a Maltese. She's very beautiful, as you can see. So we also have to keep our extended pets and or family well taken care of too. We can't neglect them ever. Of course, we have to take good care of our pets all across all spectrums of society because they are important to us. They're our families, and we live because of them, and they live because of us.
Yeah, me personally, I'm a dog person. I mean, I've lived with cats. Some of my past roommates have had cats, and I mean, cats are cool, but they're more like rebels. Like they do whatever they want. They're not. They care. They don't.
They're
really,
detached.
They're detached. There you go.
Correct, but they're independent mostly. Most they don't need us to survive. I mean, they love that we give them food. They love coming around for milk and or treats and or their food if they have a regular food. Rations every day, but they can be living out in society on their own. They don't need us.
But that's what I hear too. Like, if you don't have a lot of time, cats are good because they don't need attention and affection.
Correct.
Versus dogs are always like, hey,
and that's that's the eternal battle that everybody has. Cats or dogs, you can't choose one or the other. Pets are pets. It doesn't matter what breed they are. It doesn't matter if they're cats or dogs or in general in between. People have different type of pets.
I would prefer dogs because when I come home, my dogs are always happy to greet me. They're always always so happy to see me.
Yes, they are.
Versus cats, well, you get home, they'll just be like, "Oh,
whatever.
You're home, phase, man."
Okay, I'm out.
I'm
glad that you're home, but I'm out.
Yeah, so also I'm allergic to cats, but I wouldn't mind a hairless cat like Dr. Evil, shit, give me one of those.
Well, I love cats too, but I don't prefer cats, but I love cats. I love all animals, all pets. It doesn't matter. But we'll see. Who knows? One day I might own a cat, especially.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like I said, I wouldn't mind maybe thinking a hairless cat though, just because. I could deal with the allergies of a cat. But yeah, I'd probably want a hairless one just to not deal with that.
Well, okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to Cali Current News. If you want to subscribe, hit the bell, and or please hit the like button. We do appreciate you chiming in, and or if you have any questions or concerns, you could always write in the comment section. Thank you very much. My name is Ishmael, or Ish, and my good cousin right here.
Co-host, Grimace. Leave a comment, a like with any questions, concerns, or just letting us know how we're doing or what you think about this podcast. Also, salute to all the veterans. Also, salute to all the veteranos on the block holding it down. There's no special day for, the OG homies on the block. So I like just to associate it on Veterans Day, for the veteranos, because, don't get me wrong. I like, the military is cool and all. Honestly, I'd be like, when I was growing up, I was like, damn, should I sign up for the military? Get to shoot some bullets, drive some tanks, drive bazookas. Shoot bazookas. But then I do remember, the Zoot Suit riot days and, we
have a checkered past in this history of the U.S., so there's a lot of things that we could talk about. But we'll probably get into for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Like I said, my name is Ishmael, and my co-host, Grimace, the Cali Current Podcast. Thank you very much, everybody, for subscribing, for listening. Hit that bell notification button, and or comment in the comment section, and or please don't forget to tell your friends to like us and or please subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Salute to the veterans and veteranos.
Happy Veterans Day to everybody. Thank you.
Happy
We love
Veterans
you.
Day.